What if I were to tell you that you're not depressed, you're spiritually sick? You are not depressed. You are out of alignment. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to share a new perspective with you guys. If you've been here for a while, then you know that I've done so much self-healing. When I look back to my past self, I don't think I would ever call myself depressed because I never saw myself that way. And also your words have power, so I would never use that word. But I remember being unhappy with my life. I made some serious changes and it lifted me to a higher vibration. So I wanted to create this video to help you out. If you're ever feeling low, if you're feeling down, or if you have been diagnosed as depressed, before you pop a pill, watch this video, okay? I am not a doctor. Warning, I'm not. But I've done a lot of recovery, repair, renewal in my own life. I've had a rebirth in so many ways. And this is what I want to share with you today. So let's talk about empowerment. Let's talk about real healing, true healing. And I want to let you guys know that like therapy or therapists, scientists, doctors, holistic doctors, anyone who is interested in true health, mental health, spiritual health, all of the healers of the world, shout out to you. I love them. But I want us to empower ourselves as well. Okay, so sometimes, most times, confirmation, there's a spiritual thing happening underneath any illness, mental thing happening. And I wanted to share this because it's a new perspective for you. Okay, you're not depressed, you're spiritually sick, you're out of alignment. And so many times in the modern world, we have been disconnected from our spiritual self, our essence. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. Well, the government, the institutions, the world is not going to have you look deeper. What's beneath? What's behind any misalignment? Dis-ease, which means you're out of ease. So how do we get back in flow? How do we heal ourselves? How do we feel better? Then this video is for you. I want you to be careful because if somebody is not feeling their best, it is so easy to go into a doctor's office, tell them you don't feel well, and they give you a pill. But is that real medicine? Is that true healing? What is that really doing? It's to help you cope with your feelings or ignore your feelings. Chemically, it's telling your brain that you don't have those bad feelings anymore, and that's not true healing. So in this video, I want to share with you how we can get to the root of what's bothering you and how you can alleviate your pain. Right in time for Virgo season, that's right. Okay, so, and I want to be compassionate with you. I want you to have patience with yourself, but I also want you to be real with yourself. I am not belittling your feelings or telling you that you're not allowed to feel depressed or if you've been diagnosed depressed, but I want you to not hide behind that diagnosis, not limit yourself, not be afraid, and not to feel stuck forever. And I feel like that's one of the problems that we have today is that we are not dealing with the real issue and we don't ever want to see ourselves as a victim. Now, no one's life is perfect and we go through things that are sad, can sadden our hearts. We could be feeling down, we can be feeling low. But if you really want to feel better and sustain that naturally and love yourself deeply, then we want to think, what's truly the problem here? What could be putting me out of alignment so that I can know myself better? Things like that. Okay, so you're not depressed, you're spiritually sick. What is something that could be causing feelings of depression? Well, grief. Grief is the biggest thing. Every human most likely will go through some form of grief on your path in your life. It's interesting because most people, they might be afraid to look at any grief they've faced in their lives. And that used to be me, feeling like, well, if I look into what has made me feel sad in my life, whether it's in the past or present moment, well, that's going to have me feel weak. I'm going to sink into that. I'm not going to be able to climb out. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I don't want to face things that have happened. Maybe I have to look at people differently in my life or look at myself. So it can be hard, it can be tough. But the problem is that if you don't address the grief that you've faced in your life, then it just stays stuck. And so we're made of energy. So when we look at this spiritually, the grief, it's staying stuck. You can't ignore it. You can't just tell your mind to think something else. You can, and you'll get a different result. But the pain, you're still carrying it with you. And I want you to be free. I want you to feel light energetically and truly heal yourself. So we want to first look at what has caused you sadness in your life. What's bothering you? Why are you feeling sad? And be honest. So first we have to acknowledge the grief to heal. Then we have to process the grief. And so in my experience, how I've processed grief is to actually feel the feelings, and that will release it from your body. This means crying, purging, and you don't have to relive any harsh moments over and over again, but it's just about acknowledging how you feel, because why else would grief be there? And it's a process. So you want to be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself. You can't rush the grieving process. There's no timeline for it. We're all different. But what isn't going to help you is like a pill, a synthetic medicine that's going to chemically heal you. I mean, so if you're in this space, I know you're all about holistic healing, natural healing, spiritual elevation. And so you do the shadow work on your grief, and what you're going to find is compassion for yourself and for others. You get to grow spiritually by practicing forgiveness for things where maybe you've messed up in your life or others have messed up. We have to forgive them, and it stretches you. It takes you out of your pride and forces you into love and gentleness, right? So you're not depressed, you're spiritually sick. So when you're holding grief, when you're refusing to forgive, when you're staying stuck in grief, you're limiting yourself, but you're also spiritually sick, and you're going to call it depressed. Okay, so we want to face grief, we want to process it, and then we want to release it. And this is the biggest thing, because you're not going to just stay crying for the rest of your life. I mean, crying is not wrong. So even if you are sad for a long time or for the rest of your life, something will hurt you in a certain way. That's okay. You're allowed to be human. You're allowed to feel. Allow yourself to feel. The society we live in has shamed our feelings, have told you that they're unacceptable, but that's not true. You want to really show yourself love by just continuing to be there for yourself in an honest way. Have compassion for yourself and others. And then what's going to happen is the divine is going to minister spiritual healing. So since you've softened your heart, since you've tapped into forgiveness, and you have a true desire to renew yourself, and you're working through your heart space, which is stronger than your mind, well, then God can do what we cannot. So the divine is going to heal you. You will be able to release it. And I want you to set that intention, because people stay stuck in grief because they're unwilling to release it. They're bitter, they're upset, they're mad, they're holding a grudge. They will not let go. They're in their pride. And that's why you're not depressed. You're spiritually sick. You're out of alignment. We are not meant to hold a grudge forever. These different human emotions we feel, like anger or grief, they are serving, they're teaching us a lesson. They're awakening us within to our own soul. How do we want to move? What decisions do we want to make? Who are we deep inside? So it's up to you. But once you release the grief, okay, well, now you've healed, and it's been completely natural. Who's heard of the 7 deadly sins? Oh, the 7 deadly sins. Now, I'm not religious anymore. Okay, I'm spiritual. But spirituality, it transcends religion and limits. And it's about a true relationship with the divine, living from your heart space. Right, so, but the 7 deadly sins is a great example of why someone might find themselves depressed, clinically depressed. The doctor told you was depressed. Now they gave you a bottle of pills. Now that's not going to solve it, okay? What's going to solve it is doing the spiritual work, the inner healing. And the 7 deadly sins, ooh, you want to check yourself on that, because that will link you to feelings of depression. Okay. And so this is what I find interesting on our spiritual walk. A lot of times people hear that word sin and they want to throw the book at you. I'm not Christian, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Regardless of whatever religion you are or are not, sin, being out of alignment, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Spiritual pitfalls on our journey. When you make certain decisions in your life, good and evil, if you make bad decisions for yourself, straight up, it's only hurting you. So we're warned about it from a place of love. Now you're free to make the decisions you want. But the 7 deadly sins are like a huge warning to us. What are they? Okay, because if you're engaged or entangled in any of these things, you might find yourself depressed and now you're feeling stuck. And this video is about freedom. This message is about setting yourself free and true healing. The first sin of the 7 deadly sins is lust. And lust is thrown in our face all of the time. If you fall in lust, if you're stuck in lust, you're going to feel depressed. It doesn't feel good. In the moment, it feels great. But long term, you're going to feel guilty. You're going to feel ashamed because you're out of alignment. Okay, so you got to check the lust in your life, and it's thrown in our face. That's why the more you awaken, the more you see that you're on a spiritual walk in this life, because things are purposely coming for you to keep you in a state of lust. It's so easy. You're tempted. So temptation. Things like, we know what are the huge vices on earth for lust, but it's in the music. It's very accessible on the phone. Women in their lower nature, or even men. We have strip clubs. There's all types of stuff out there. So it's easy to get entangled in lust, but I want you to free yourself. You're not depressed. You're spiritually sick. Lust is an interesting topic because it tricks you. It makes you feel like it's going to give you exactly what you want. Then you do it. Then you got tricked because you're not actually satisfied. You need more. And so it's just one of those things. And that's when you're on your spiritual walk, you can fight against what's true, but what's true is true. Like, we cannot agree with it. We can try to fight it. We could try to go our own way. But at the end of the day, you're going to keep falling on your butt until you realize this. And that's why you're out of alignment. So if you want to heal yourself, rid yourself of lust as best as you can. Now, we're not going to necessarily reach perfection. We're not. But this can be something. So let's think of an example. So somebody who might call themselves depressed, or you might see as depressed, maybe they don't even realize it, is someone who's like addicted to going to strip clubs. Okay, so they're going to strip clubs, but see, deep inside there's something else going on. There's lust, like the women who they're having to pay to show them attention or whatever. Ew. But then also, what's really going on? That person, let's call him a he, is going to feel depressed because why are you having to pay a woman like you? So we're dealing with self-worth issues. We're dealing with like deeper things. So you always want to go deeper. Lust is sticky, icky, and it's a trick. Okay, it's a trick. You want to climb out of it. One of the other 7 deadly sins, greed. Okay, greedy. If you're greedy, it's going to show up in so many ways, and we have to rid ourselves of it, or else you'll be depressed. So depressed, from my perspective, is you're feeling stuck. So if you want to get yourself unstuck, then you have to rid yourself spiritually, cleanse yourself spiritually, open your eyes spiritually. I felt like Tony Gaskins, open your eyes. And clean yourself off spiritually. So be careful of greed. Another trick. Yeah, it seems great. Like, let's use the easiest example, money. Yeah, it seems great to have money. There's nothing wrong with money. Money is not the problem. It's the lust. It's the greed of it, because you're never satiated. You always want more. It can never fill you. So it's like a cup that has a hole at the bottom, and everything is like, you're filling your cup, but it keeps emptying out. You're like, so you need more. That's why you're getting tricked. So be careful of greed. Be careful of lust. 7 deadly sins. What's another one? Sloth. Being a sloth, being lazy. Oh, that's a huge one tied to depression. You're not depressed, you're spiritually sick. Okay, the scriptures or spiritual wisdom will show you, will teach you, will reveal to you what's really going on. You're not depressed, you're being lazy. And it's a mindset. Like, your mind, the society has told you, has programmed you that that's who you are, but you're not. Okay, so you don't need a pill. You don't need shame, like people shaming you, criticizing you. You need to renew your mind. You need to cleanse yourself and realize that you're so capable, you're so amazing, you're talented, you're gifted, and you're able to create the type of life that you're excited to live. And it's also okay to rest, because some people are so burnt out that they just become lazy because they're just exhausted of life. They're like, I'm done. Okay, you have to find balance in your life. It's safe to rest, but also tap into the fire of you, ignite yourself to get going, create a life that makes you excited to live it, and find your balance. You're allowed to rest, but also work toward your life. Be excited for your life. Honor your life. You're alive, right? So use that life force energy towards something that you want, that's of your own choice, and create a beautiful life for yourself. So that's why being lazy is one of the 7 deadly sins, because it's like a waste of your life. What else? Okay. Envy. Ooh, envy. That's a huge one. One of the 7 deadly sins is envy. You're not depressed, you're spiritually sick. And with envy, the first thing that comes to my mind is you're comparing yourself to someone else. Why are you doing that? So stop belittling yourself, stop shrinking and feeling like someone else is on a pedestal and you're down here just watching them, idolizing them. You don't have to do that. You don't have to envy anyone else. You don't have to be jealous of anyone else. You're amazing on your own. Focus on your own life and find things that you love about yourself. Fall in love with your own life, basically, instead of idolizing someone else and feeling like they're above you. So this is all our own doings. If you're envious out here, you're just going to be depressed, and it's going to come out in other ways. Rage, anger. You're so busy. I see that online a lot. You're so busy like criticizing someone else's life constantly. And it's like, but secretly you probably feel some type of way about them, because why are you wasting your life and your time doing that? So envy is sticky, icky. It's a deadly sin. It's going to produce death in your life, because spiritually you're dead. You're wasting your life, your energy. And so you're not depressed, you're spiritually sick. Cleanse your heart of envy and start appreciating your own existence. What's another 7 deadly sin? Do you guys like this video? I love talking about spiritual stuff. One of the next 7 deadly sins, how you know that you're not depressed, you're out of alignment, you're spiritually sick. Something to watch out for is gluttony. And this can take hold when we overdo it. And it's coming from a place of scarcity. So you want to check your mindset. Are you gluttonous? Are you eating too much? That's what comes to mind, is like eating. It's going to, of course, make you depressed, because it's going to mess with your health. It's going to make you feel bad about yourself. And that's why I tell you guys all the time that your feelings matter. They're speaking to you. They're revealing things to you. They're teaching you. They're like, hello, your soul is communicating to you through your feelings. Okay? Through your feelings. Don't let the commercials communicate to you, or someone toxic online, or someone jealous of you. Listen to your own body and heart, mind, and like your feelings, your intuition. This is your divine feminine energy, which in this world we've been disconnected from it, but I want you to plug back in to it. Connect to your feelings. What are they telling you? They're revealing things to you. And so when it comes to gluttony, if you feel bad, you're going to feel bad. Like any of these 7 deadly sins, when you do them, you're going to feel ashamed. So before you rid yourself of feeling ashamed, ask yourself why. And you're going to realize, because you were wrong. You're doing something wrong. You're hurting yourself. And of course that will make you depressed. It's like you're stifling your own spirit. So you're not depressed, you're spiritually sick, and we can heal. And so you want to always get to the root issues. And when it comes to gluttony, it's based in scarcity. You feel like there's never enough, and you can dig into that. There's so many resources online, books, and just your own healing. Fast. And that's why fasting, it's interesting, because there's always, the divine is so beautiful. There's always another route we can take that's going to have you spiritually ascend much faster. So the opposite to gluttony would be like fasting. Fasting is so healthy for you. And taking a break, taking control, being self-disciplined, telling yourself no, or, have something later on. But self-control, self-mastery, taking control of your own being for your health because you love yourself, and also not being impulsive, like not being rash. And so these things are always true, but it's our human experience to fall down and get back up. And in this way, we learn, we become stronger, more glorious, more shiny. And you agreed to come have this human experience. So congratulations, you're here. You're doing great, by the way. You're doing amazing. Okay, so you're not depressed, you're spiritually sick. There's 2 more 7 deadly sins that could have you feeling depressed. One of them is wrath, so feeling like a state of rage. And we see this online all the time with the rage bait. And people are so selfish that they just care about their clicks, they just care about their money, they don't care about their impact on society. So I just pray that you awaken to peace. Okay, so the opposite of wrath would be peace. But if you're constantly angry, get to the root issue. Of course, it's going to have you depressed because you're carrying all of this rage and anger. You're so upset. So you have to work on your heart space. It's a spiritual thing. It's not so much a mental thing from my perspective, in my opinion. Okay, so wrath will absolutely produce death. Okay, think about road rage. Think about people fighting and ending it because they got a weapon involved, something crazy. Okay, there's so much pain on earth, but when we individually do the healing, when we're honest with ourselves, we're going to see a better world. We're going to renew ourselves, but also we're going to create the new earth. We're going to ascend, and this is the time to do it. Okay, so no excuses. I want us to be radically responsible for our own state of being and do the healing, because you're going to feel so good. People are like, why are they so happy? They're happy because they're spiritually in alignment. They're spiritually alive. They're in tune with their soul. They're practicing compassion, love. They're revering their spiritual walk. Okay, so you're not depressed. You're out of alignment. The last 7 deadly sin that could have you feeling depressed is, what is it? Pride. Ooh, pride. And whenever you see 2 people in an argument, a lot of times it's pride. No, pride is associated with the ego. It can serve you in some ways, but if you stay stuck in your pride, if you're being too prideful, it will hurt you ultimately. And the divine warns us to not be stuck in your pride, because then you'll feel depressed. Like, you might be right about something, but if you're too prideful, it's gonna just be hurting you. And now you can walk around being right and depressed. And what kind of life is that for you to live? That's why I say it's only hurting you. Now, when we do sin or when we mess up, since we're all connected, it affects everything and everyone around you. It's a ripple effect. But it's also hurting you. So why not love yourself? Why not actually heal? And you want to rid yourself if you have too much pride, And again, what's the counter? Humility. So you want to have a big slice of humble pie and realize that's all right. Squash your ego death, and just realize that, like, it's okay. Yeah, you're right, and it's okay. Or you're wrong, but it's okay. Can you just swallow your pride and just chill out? Be humble. Don't think too highly of yourself, whereas you're up here and everyone else is down here. No, like, it's okay. We all make mistakes. Forgive, release, surrender, release the toxic masculine trait. I feel like that's associated with pride, because I think of like the lion as far as like an animal, it's ferocious, it's strong, it's powerful, but you don't want to overdo it, because then you're going to be in wrath, you're going to be in rage. Just chill out. Zen mode. Okay, so do you guys see how someone could be in a therapist's office if they think it's a mental health disorder, or if they can be at the doctor's office saying they have a physical pain or ailment? And again, it's because you're out of alignment spiritually. So we were having a spiritual walk. Any of these things I told you, they can have you in the doctor's office. Like, let's take lust. Let's say you're out there and you're bopping around, okay? You call it what you want to do, but you could very easily catch an STD or an STI. Okay, now you're at the doctor's office and it's all bad. So you're spiritually sick. It's going to have you depressed. It's going to have you sick. But really, what is the root? Or wrath? You got into some type of accident or a fight out in the club, out in the streets, the grocery store. I don't know what y'all are doing out here fighting over toilet paper. You know, you're in a state of rage. And so again, when we are out of alignment spiritually, it's gonna have us feeling depressed, you know, because it's interesting. We all have an inner compass morally, right from wrong. Morally, your own heart and soul is gonna convict you. And we want to listen to that. We want to honor that, because if we don't, and if we get stuck in a sin, if we get stuck spiritually low, we're going to call it depressed. And so I just wanted to share this with you, and to examine your own heart if you're feeling down, if you're feeling low, and just know that there's always a way out. There's a way forward. You can get unstuck. You can heal yourself. You can grow. And if you're new to my channel, stick around, join us. We talk about deep things like this, our spiritual path, self-love, healing, healthy relationships, things like this, so that we can grow and expand in our life. And I'm just sending you so much love and power and healing on your journey. Take care of yourself. Let me know your thoughts on this video. But before you take a pill, okay? And you know what? Before I go too, is like, shout out to that actress who just passed away last night or the night before, because she was taking pills. She was on pain relievers. Opioids are a huge problem in this world right now. They're addictive. And that's why I tell you, I'm not just joking. These medicines that they give you, they're not healing, they're hurting you, okay? A drug dealer on the street could get arrested, but yet we're passing out drugs freely, a lot of times freely in this world, and we're not stopping to question it. So I need you to think critically. I need you to actually heal yourself spiritually, to elevate, okay? Free your mind, free your soul, heal your body, real healing. Don't just pop a pill. Don't suppress your feelings. Don't try to cope with life. Don't see yourself as a victim permanently. You want to be able to release the grief and just ascend. So I'm sending you a lot of power. Empower yourself. I'm sending you love, healing, happiness into your life. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in my next video.